Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Spa. A very wet, sodden Spa for the Lotus Cup Europe. Oh, here's your starting grid then for round 6, race 1. At the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, Bence Ballot and Bence Valent are on your front row. Thomas Vizin and Paul Marichal are indeed on your second row. Thierry Verheijst and Sven Pettersson are on the third row. Daniel Palmer and Rainer Borgens are on your fourth row. And Georgi Ballot and Jean-Pierre Genot-Prochet are indeed your top 10. Robin Nielsen and Natalie Genot-Prochet are 11th and 12th. Jason McNulty and Stephen Lake are 13th and 14th. Bailey Edwards and Mark Yates are indeed your 8th row. Kai Cederholm and Ronald Andrashek are indeed 17th and 18th position. In 19th then is David McNulty, and Kai Lehman is in the top 20. Dave Carr is 21st on the grid. 30 minutes of racing here then at Spa, and as you can see, it is very wet here indeed. It is like a river, and I remember the last time we commentated, I'm on my own, I commentated on the Lotus Europe Cup. It was at Zola when we had a formation lap that started dry, and by the end of it, it was like a lake out there. Not a Stephen Lake who's racing, but a genuine lake. And, well, we've got the same here. That was the best race, I think, in the history of the Lotus Cup Europe. So maybe history repeats itself. So we are going around the circuit then behind the safety car. So we have got a 30-minute race for you. And, well, the Lotus crew are just going to be happy that we're racing on a Saturday. Of course, last time out, we only were able to do one race for the Lotus Cup Europe because of the fog at the Nürburgring. So it looks like we should be getting 2 races. As you can see, there's a genuine river running off across the circuit there, so you've got to be careful. The last thing you want to be doing is indeed aquaplaning, and that's really the perfect spot to transition the car from right to left as well, so you've got to be even more careful. So there is the number 79, which is not very favourable weather, really, there for Jean-Pierre Genot-Prochet. By the end of it, you're going to need a bucket to get the water out. You need a set of oars to be racing this weekend. As we are running then down towards Blanchimont, in towards that chicane, and then we are good to go. And by the looks of things, we've got a rolling start. Normally, it's a standing start for these. So. This will be interesting. As you can see, there's massive puddles if you run wide on the exit of Blanchimont, which every car this weekend has been doing. But the price you pay today, well, might be your race ending. Simple as that. Bence Ballot then, who got beat at the Nürburgring by Thomas Vizin, it's normally between those two, are actually split by Valent. It is a 1-2-3 for the Hungarians. In the Lotus Cup Europe, it's always a Hungarian somewhere around the front end of the grid. Or are we going to see a potential 1-2-3 on the podium? Heading up then towards the bus stop. And my assumption is here we're going to see the pace car drop off. And here we go then. They're all going to line up 2 by 2. Around the final corner we have indeed gone. There's the red lights on your screen. And now we are officially green light racing here then for the first race at Spa this weekend as they all indeed rush down. Daniel Palmer, you can see in the background in P5 now, running through the middle of Thierry Verheijst as well. Bence Ballot makes a massive mistake. Runs really wide then through turn number 1. I think he's just about got it figured out here. But then Thomas Vizin is already into the lead here. There will be a bit of a drag race as they make their way up then towards Radion and then indeed Eau Rouge. And Stephen Lake is trying to get through the pack here as well. And well, if you can see any cars through there, you're doing a better job than I am. But Thomas Vizin has the lead of this race. Probably the perfect conditions actually for that little nimble car. But yeah, Thomas Vizin to Bence Ballot then. Valent now down into P3. This is where Ballot will indeed close the gap. A very long straight then down in towards that first chicane. And then we've got Palmer, who's made some massive inroads here already. So moving up into a top 4, having to go defensive then from Marichal. And well, these two got into it at the Nürburgring, and I'm sure they will be going at it again today. Marichal decides to back out of the potential overtake, and actually it gives an opportunity for Sven Pettersson to catch up. Palmer not able to get that power down. The rear stepping out as we come then through the right-hander, and you really can see how much water is on this circuit. The rain has subsided as it stands, so the track should, in theory, get better as this race goes on. but that is indeed just a theory. So who knows? Round the outside we will go then through Bruxelles. I tell you what, Marichal has got the overlap on the exit, cannot get that power down. Palmer just about hangs on. Through No Name we will go here as well. Well, Palmer, who's having a very interesting first lap, let's say, made up loads of positions, but now all of a sudden under some severe pressure, goes down towards Pouon, and as you can see, braking, then letting off the brakes, braking, letting off the brakes, just trying to indeed not lock that car up, and doing a sufficient job, really. But the front three, the Hungarians, are all off into the distance here, aren't they? Valent currently in third spot, but Vizin leads Bence Ballo as Ballo slides the car through the S's here, having lots of fun. The passion from the front two specifically in this championship is pretty much unrivaled in the world of motorsport, I'd say. Every single podium I see from them, there's tears, there's selfies, there's crying, there's fans everywhere. Yeah, they absolutely love it. And well, they're P1 and P2 once again. Daniel Palmer keeping indeed his line as they run on towards the back of the straight up towards Blanchimont. And still holding Marichal at bay. The Dutchman trying to get up in amongst it with the Swedish driver. Palmer just driving away here again, as we see. The mist does subside. Sven Pettersson actually is the driver looking to get involved here. As you can see, so much water being kicked up. So easy to indeed find yourself off the circuit, and this is the first time they negotiate Blanchimont again. You do not want to be running onto that curb. Palmer just having to dab the brakes on the exit, and really if you go past or beyond that white line and you start dabbing the brakes, it's a little bit too late. You will aquaplane, you will end up in a barrier, you will end up out of this race. Marichal closes up under braking, but once again it is still P4 then for Daniel Palmer. And then we've got Marichal in fifth. Pettersson is in sixth position. You see the front two are very closely tied up as well. But as you can see, Marichal gets a really good exit out of the chicane, makes the move for P4, and Palmer in a bit of trouble there. Very sluggish. Marichal runs a little bit wide. Sven Pettersson trying to follow through as well. Everybody going sideways there, almost like it's scripted. This is the Fast and the Furious 10. Incredible stuff. Down towards Radion we will indeed go. Windscreen wipers going like happy dog tails. Across the curb we do go through Radion. Up the top of Eau Rouge. Again, visibility at an absolute premium here at Spa. Not the worst conditions we've had all day, but probably the second worst conditions for a race today. And actually, it looks like Pettersson is really pushing the boundaries here, trying to get himself up into P2, if you could see that. Oh, sorry, up to P5. If you can see this on your screens. Up towards Les Combes we will come. And it is still normal service resumed, which has given Marichal, actually P4, a chance to just drive away. Here's a look at the start once again. Look at Palmer in the middle of your screens there. It gets a phenomenal start. Goes up the inside of, you can see Thierry Verheijst there with the orange stripes down the middle of his car on the inside. And then you've got indeed Sven Pettersson with a blue car on the other side of Palmer. He tries to make a move on Marichal. They've already had contact this season a few times, and it was nearly another chapter in the Marichal Palmer book. So here you go. Look right through the middle. It was a very good start, by the way, by Tamas Vizin. Look at Bence Ballo. He's got a really nice advantage, but just misses his braking point. And unfortunately, just couldn't get it hooked up. Trying to put the power down with a downhill exit through the source. It's almost impossible. And then by the time they get to this point, which we've got a lovely slow-mo here, Tamas Vizin had a comfortable lead and was able to indeed scoot off into the distance. But it's a little bit closer now, although Tamas Vizin has just put in the purple first sector. So what do I know? Just gained another couple of tenths here. And as you can see, Palmer under some pressure from Pettersson, which has given Marichal the license to just drive away again. So Marichal having a good time here. You won't even see these in his rearview mirror, but he'll be happy with what he's managed to produce. With number 88 trying to find himself up into that top 5. I think Verheijst might be closing in onto the both of them. Just in the background says, oh, off the circuit we will go. Well, has he held on to that? Oh, unbelievable, actually. But look, he still might get the overtake done here. Slides it around the outside, still has the outside line. How has he saved that? How is he still in this race? That is a brilliant bit of driving there. Definitely not the most orthodox of overtakes and probably didn't mean it. But we will take that all day long. That was delicious. Round the outside then. And Palmer moves down into P6. Pettersson up to the top 5. And that's up there with one of the best overtakes for a P5 I've ever seen. Tamas Vizin now with a purple middle sector as well. He's gained about 7/10 of a second. Although another 4/10 was actually taken back out in the final sector by Bence Ballo. So Bence is not losing out too much here. As you can see, a bit of a lock-up. And here we go. We get to see this overtake here. And at this point, he's gone. Race is over. Into the barrier he goes. And how he's managed to get this car stopped. How close to the white line do you go? Wow. Yeah, not much of a gap there at all. Gets onto the curb, and you think, wow, he's definitely not going to make an overtake as well as he. Yep, he absolutely did. Brilliant bit of driving there. It went from a mistake to an overtake in the blink of an eye. There's P3, then Valent over the top of Eau Rouge. Nice little gap to work with from Marichal. Marichal now 10 seconds behind the front three. Again, it's looking very, very likely with 23 minutes left to go on the clock that the Hungarians are going to get another 1, 2, 3, unless something drastic happens. And well, if you're looking at the same pictures I'm looking at, which I'm sure you are, there is every possibility of that happening because it is treacherous out there still. Horrendous weather to be racing in. Quite fun if you're watching though. 1.9 seconds the advantage then between the front two. Valent then about 5 seconds off the lead. You've got Marichal, Pettersson, Palmer, and then you've got Verheist. Palmer is around about 1.8 seconds behind Pettersson. So Pettersson's off into the distance already. Verheist about 2.3 seconds then back from 6th position. And then got Nilsson, who is around 2.4 behind Verheist. And then we've got Jean-Pierre Janot-Prechet, who's 5 seconds behind Nilsson. Then we've got Borgens, who's in 10th position, further 5 seconds back. Lake's about 3 seconds behind the top 10. And then you've got the first of the McNultys. Jason McNulty then currently in 12th position. As we're on board here then with the number 79, that's Jean-Pierre Janot-Prechet. That yellow car. And yeah, that is going to be it's going to be super interesting by the time they get out of the car. That's going to take some drying, the race suit, that's for sure. And then here is Nathalie Janot-Prechet in the number 14 in the pink open top as well. Through the middle sector. Coming through the sweeping left-hander down in towards Pouon. And just again, you can just see how much spray is being kicked up in the air. It's ridiculous. As we run them through Pouon. Down in towards the most technical part of the circuit. And yeah, as the producer in my ear has just said, hopefully they've drilled some holes in the bottom of that car so they can drain the water out overnight. Got to have fun, that's for sure. As all of these drivers are right now. They can't see the fun, but they can feel it. That's about it, really. Because that it's crazy weather. Really is crazy weather. Oh, well, that's not ideal. Off onto the curb we go there. What happened there? That must have been a bit of snap oversteer. It's a pretty normal right-hander there. But unfortunately, I think the front wheels might have just dug in. So yeah, a bit of a mistake there. We'll go back to the leaders though. Vizin, 1.9 seconds still ahead, so hasn't really extended the lead. Look at the commitment though, over the top of Eau Rouge. That's incredible. And Bence Ballo should close the gap here once again, but Vizin just seems to be on a bit of a different planet. Just seems to have the bit between his teeth today in this chapter upon chapter battle between these two in their careers. It's been season upon season. And on entry, you can see the Bence Ballo goes very deep and then just cuts into the corner. It's a really nice line, actually. Very different. Here we go. Here's a mistake. What happens here, then? Yeah, well, just loses the rear. It's as simple as that, really. Go too fast for the right-hander. He loses the rear. Really good recovery, though. That could have been so much worse. Could have been so much worse. But yeah, saved it. Didn't go into the barrier. Job's good. Well, here's the battle for the lead. And I'll tell you what, there's a mistake there for sure from Vizin. Vizin, the gap is now down. It says 1.7 seconds, but next time they go across the timing beam, I think you're fine. And that might be a little bit less than that. Down towards Pouon we go. Sliding the car around as the number 88 then is off the circuit here as well. That is up into, that's the exit of Lescom. Car going okay, or is that going to be a retirement here? The car stopped, so yeah, by the looks of things, that might be a retirement. Back towards the leaders then, as they are indeed almost exiting the final sector. And Vizin, the longer this race goes on, the more sideways he's going. The track should really be getting better, but Vizin's just finding more and more ways to go sideways. Oh, and again, there we go, getting on the brakes. On that white line, I'm not sure how much of this is intentional and how much isn't. But it's fun to watch, that's for sure. It's every corner. It's definitely intentional. So it's a nice little battle here. A little bit further back then. Cederholm has got ahead of Bailey Edwards. So they're coming up through. They're going to gain a position here as well because of Pettersson, the number 88. And we're going to see exactly what's happened here. So Pettersson, who earlier on lost it and made an incredible overtake, has, well, just pulled the car over. There's something wrong with the car. He feels there's something wrong with the car, pulls the car over. And, well, you just got to hope that for tomorrow, for race number 2, that car is repairable. Yeah, nothing too crazy there. No big contacts. But the battle then, a little bit further back, between Cederholm and Edwards is still happening here. Number 32 and number 33. The move was actually made up into the first corner, Lotus. I saw it happen right in front of me. It's a nice little dive up the inside. And, well, now, it's all about really whether Cederholm can hold on to this position. And his very Swedish-looking car, the flag there on the rear of it. Bailey Edwards having a little look here, having a little nibble potentially, not quite close enough, but actually forces a bit of a mistake there from Cederholm. He runs a little bit wide, but means he can open up the corner. So the second phase of this S ends up being good enough to hold on to the position. So we now run through the double right-hander, then on towards that Blanchimont once again. It's so quick through there. It's flat out, even in these conditions. But then into Blanchimont, you're getting on the brakes a little bit, letting off. But you've got to be careful because if you brake too hard down towards Blanchimont in these conditions, it's so easy for the car to swap ends. And then you're facing the wrong way and you're a passenger. And we saw how much water there is. And there's a battle happening just up in front here as well, isn't there? I think McNulty and Yates are having a nice little ding-dong. And Cederholm sort of making a nice little gap to work with. But yeah, there is the battle in front then, up towards the bus stop chicane. McNulty's ahead. Yates then trying to find a bit of a move around the outside. Is there any kind of overlap through the mid part of the corner? No. But Yates is going to get a better exit here for sure on the exit of the chicane. And well, is there a potential opportunity to make a run then down towards turn number 1? There isn't. So McNulty's actually got a really nice exit. Look at that. Look at the gap difference. So they've gone from being side by side to maybe a second apart. So really nice stuff there from McNulty. And Yates then will have to try that again. Try and set something up once again. So the long run then down in towards the chicane. And actually, we're going to see Tamas Vizin going sideways again. And it looks slow. But it isn't. It's just the way he's driving the car. He's in the lead of the race. So it must be working. Gap 1.4 seconds between the two of them. So it must be working. We're about to see the leader appear on our screens, I think. There we go. Where is Bence Ballo? He's not far behind. So the gap is definitely coming down. So the first sector, Tamas Vizin was faster and actually went fastest of his first sectors entirely. And then Bence Ballo's just going to put in his best for middle sector. So they are both absolutely flying here. On the previous lap, the fastest lap of the race was done by Bence Ballo, and he was a 10th quicker than Tamas Vizin. Oh, that's a mistake. Yeah, got bogged down there on entry through the first part of the chicane. But again, able to nail the power on the exit, and if anything, has indeed got more of a gap here to work with. I think this might be the fastest lap of the race we're about to see. Well, it was. It lasted for exactly 1.4 seconds because Bence Ballo's then gone and put in the fastest lap as well. He completely misses his braking point. He's just trying to find more grip. He's trying to find more grip on the exit of that in turn number 1. We actually saw earlier on during some other races that corner is so difficult if you get too close to that wall. So yeah, maybe it's an idea to try and find something more with maybe 5 laps remaining of this race, potentially 6 remaining of this race, as we get a lovely shot here of Vizin coming over Eau Rouge once again. Bence Ballo will close this gap again because it's just got a little bit more poke in a straight line. Not as nimble through the corners, especially with these conditions. Is there the potential for a battle for the leader? That's the question. And again, look at Vizin. So Vizin's braking middle of the track, then moving over to the left to then open up the right-hander. You see him searching, still searching. Even though he's in the lead, it's not enough. Sliding again through a right-hander. But leading the race is not enough. Wants to extend that lead, wants a bit more of some insurance to work with. But I tell you what, that is not an ideal line there for sure. Runs completely wide and maybe a couple more inches off. And you go onto that green stuff and you are not getting that car rotated. But again, seems to be getting away with it. Sliding through No Name as well. This is an incredible driving style. Those tyres are going to be, well, they're going to be slicked by the end of this. As we see McNulty and Yates still battling for position. As we come into the final chicane here once again. McNulty's, they love purple and gold and non-apologetic liveries. Brilliant stuff. Across the line then, they will go. But as it stands then, with 12 minutes 56 seconds to go, Tamas Vizin for BV Motorsport Comotech leads the way. Bent Ballo for GFS Racing Teams in second then. We have got Valent for Hargital Racing KFT GFS Racing Team. Then we've got Marichal for Racing Team Lotus Verheist. Then we've got Palmer in the top 5 here for the Skeena Equestrian GFS Racing Team. Thierry Verheist, Racing Team Lotus Verheist. Next up then is Nilsson, currently in P7 for Nibor Sports GFS Racing Team, as this battle still goes on here. Bailey Edwards and Cederholm. Number 33 there, the green, and number 32 of the blue. And can Yates find a move here? Was it a lovely run over the top of Eau Rouge? How much has that car got in the straight line? No, that's the question. You can see there's not as much water as there was at the start of this race now. And, well, as soon as I say that, we can't see them because of all the water in the air. Up the inside then, I think Edwards is going to look for a move. How late can you go on the brakes here in that green number 33? Not late enough, I don't think. Cederholm squeezes Edwards onto the apex, forces him to get a bit more brake pressure in through the pedal and holds on to that position. Still fighting as they head down towards Bruxelles. You can see there, Edwards is trying to carry a little bit more speed through the exit of that corner, but unfortunately then cannot get the power through the car, hitting the curb on the exit. It's just too much of a shiny surface. But Cederholm having a lovely race here. Again, this is a battle for what would be P15. This is for P15 right now. So yeah, incredible stuff from both of them. As we come then down in towards Pouhon. He's got the inside line again as Bailey. Not quite close enough to get the move even started realistically, but still there, piling that pressure on. It's not able to get the job done. So back through the order we go then. We've then got Jean-Pierre Genot-Prochet, P8 as it stands, with JPN by Asphalte. We've got then Bourgens racing for Comotech Lotus Amring. Then we've got Lake racing for Aim Shop ID Aim Tech. Jason McNulty for AB Care, Admark, ES Motorsport. JPN by Asphalte is in P12, represented by Natalie Genot-Prochet. And then we've got David McNulty for the AB Care, ES Motorsport. Yates is racing in P14 as it stands for the Active Transport Limited team. And then we've got Cederholm for the GJ Lotus Tuning in P15. Bailey Edwards for the Comfort Racing is currently in 16th spot. As we see some fans who are fair play, very brave, just out in the rain, no problem whatsoever, no hoods up. But then we get to look at Jean-Pierre Genot-Prochet bringing that very unique looking Lotus over the top of the hill. We've then got car in 17th spot in the ES Motorsport team, Lehman racing for Comotech Lotus Amring. Pettersson for Comotech's out of this race. Georgi Balu's in the pits for GFS Racing team. And then we've got Andrzejczyk, who I don't think started this race actually, in the UltimateLightweight.com team. Tamas Vizin, again, still, you saw the hands there, crossing over. And again, this is high risk, high reward. Obviously finding time. You can't knock it, absolutely finding time. Although Bent Ballo is closing that gap, but you are just one bit of oversteer away from your race being over entirely. But this is really special to watch. These two always put on a show in the Lotus Cup Europe. And well, once again, here at Spa, they are doing the same. Down in towards then the final chicane. 9 minutes left on the clock here. So for my money, we've got 3, potentially 4 laps remaining. I think it's 3. Yeah, as we see, trying to get the power through that final chicane. There's nigh on impossible here. But Tamas Vizin is finding a way. but he's being chased down now. 7/10 was the lead before they crossed the line. What's the lead now? 1.1 second here. So Benston loses a bit of time through that final sector, taking a different line to Vizin. Vizin getting that power down in the end. And again, it looks slower on entry, but very much quicker on the exit. Ballow's trying to find some traction, trying to find some pace there on a really wide line. It just doesn't seem to be working. Needs to be, I reckon, within maybe 7/10 of a second, getting into this position. And there's a chance of making an overtake in towards Les Combes. But Vizin doing everything he needs to do to hold on to this spot. A very classy drive right now from Vizin. As you see them both running through the Camel Straight. Vilint, by the way, the third of the 3 Hungarians at the front, currently in P3. 18.8 seconds the difference between P2 and P3. See, Bence Ballow's got to be thinking, I've got 3 laps here. Got to try and make something work. Got to try and find some grip somewhere. But he also knows the driver in front so well. Well, there is the... Oh, well, no, again, is it a mistake? He ran onto the white line. It looked like he might just continue. But he didn't. Thierry Verheijden closing up to the back of Palmer. And you've got Nielsen just in behind. But yeah, Bence Ballow closed up. Vizin, I think, was maybe a couple of millimeters away from sliding that car a little bit too far, not being able to get the power down because he was on the paint. An opportunity for Bence Ballow to close that gap. And as I say that, Tamas Vizin has still put in the fastest first sector out of everybody. So he's still putting in the fastest lap times. Crazy. A very talented driver, for sure. So as you can see on your screens, Georgi Ballow, Pettersson and Andrzejczyk are all out of this race. So they're all out of this race. So 6 minutes, 40 seconds to go. Thierry Verheijden, of course, the namesake of the team, Verheijden Racing. The gap between these two is as small as this has been all race long. Half a second between the two. And this is where Bence Ballow can pounce. Can he find a potential opening here to get into the lead of this race? I think it becomes very difficult for Vizin to re-overtake. Very difficult indeed. Down towards Blanchimont they come. How close can Bence Ballow be? Oh, almost running onto the curb. Definitely had to let off the gas there for sure. And that renders the opportunity to make an overtake useless, I'm afraid. As you can see, snaking into the braking zone is Tamas Vizin. Bence Ballow takes a completely different line. Seems like a very quick line through the entry, but again, on the exit, power getting put down by Vizin. And holds on. You could hear the wheel spin in the car there. Now they've run down in towards La Source, turn number 1. 2 laps remain, I think, of this race. Fastest lap of the race by Bence Ballow. A 2:59.3. Not the fastest overall, but the fastest from him. At this stage of the race, is starting to find some form. 0.8 of a second is the gap. And this is where Bence struggles through here. Just cannot apply as much power or as much agility as that Comotech BV Motorsport car just up in front. And once again, there'll be no opportunity to make a move up in towards the chicane as we deal with some backmark traffic. And this might actually help Tamas Vizin once again, because I think you'll find Bence Ballow is not going to be able to open up that corner as much as he would like to. Runs a little bit wide for his troubles as well. There you go. But Vizin is just slow. Struggling to get that power down. Tyres are going to be absolute mess. Bubblegum, if you like. And that was number 32. So that's Cederholm. So Bailey Edwards has checked out from this. But here's the battle for the lead. Once again, runs very deep under braking. Still manages to hold on to the lead here. Bence Ballow all over the rear of our lead car. Last season's overall champion, of course, with the number 1 in this car is Bence Ballow. And is there the opportunity to make a move here? This is as close as he's been. He's got a long run down towards Pouon. Pulls out, has the inside line if he wants to go late under braking. Not quite going to be close enough. Tamas Vizin still sliding that car and still holding on to the position. If you want to make the car wider and stop someone from overtaking you, slide it. It absolutely will make it wider. Bence Ballow cannot find a gap to work with here. Squeeze there on the apex of Pouon. Down in towards the S's here. He's going to have to go around the outside. I didn't think it's possible to make an overtake round there, but I've seen 3 so far today, and make that 4, because Ben Spallo has taken another leap towards the lead in the race over Tamas Vizin and picks up the lead here. It's a great move. Of all the places you try and make a move around Spa, you make it around the outside of the S's. That's an incredible move. Tamas Vizin just not able to get the power through the car. And now we've got a long straight to... Oh, Vizin there nearly completely loses the car as he laps Bailey Edwards. Just a little bit too much steering inputs, trying to keep the loud pedal down, the throttle pedal down. And, well, Tamas Vizin with a bit of an olive branch here, isn't he? He's got a bit of an opportunity to retake the lead here. We know the car's going to be a little bit better under braking in towards that final chicane. Ben Spallo runs wide then through Blanchimont. Still got the power and the nous to hold on to the position. Still trying to find grip all over the circuit right now. Runs wide, runs deep on entry, and Tamas Vizin is trying to find a gap there. Almost contact between the two of them. But Ben Spallo, at the end of this race, has done what he needs to do. We crossed the line, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be the last lap of your race. So down in towards La Source we will come. It is the last lap of the race. And there's a mistake from Ben Spallo, but he's been trying to find grip from there, so it is intentional. But I think he might have run a little bit too far wide. Still holds on to the lead. Tamas Vizin, half a second back. He will be quicker through Radion and Eau Rouge, but I just think that car's in front, it's got a little bit too much poke in a straight line. So we'll have to be very, very careful through here, whereas Vizin should close right up. Here we go, over the top of Eau Rouge we go. You see both of the Lotuses coming through. And as you cut on the pit exit there of the old pit lane, it looks like Ben Spallo might have this job done and dusted. One tour left here. Up towards Les Combes we will come. And is it a little bit too much work to do here for Tamas Vizin? Ben Spallo runs wide once again, but again he's found grip where Tamas Vizin couldn't. They've both run so many different lines during this race. It's been incredible to watch, actually. But there's a back marker to contend with here as well. So we've got Yates to deal with. And, well, Ben Spallo has caught Yates at a very bad time here. Does Tamas Vizin get an opportunity? Ben Spallo on the power, slides the car out once again. I think Vizin's tyres have let go. You can see he's significantly slower now. And can you blame him? He's pretty much sideways for the entirety of this race. He's pretty much been sideways, so yeah, those rear tyres are going to be an absolute mess. So Ben Spallo was second for maybe 27 minutes of this race, and when it mattered, 2 laps to go, made an incredible move through these corners here. Didn't think it was quite possible to do so before I came to Spa, but this weekend I've been treated to some incredible overtakes through here. And now with 1 sector left to go of this lap, Ben Spallo is about to take yet another victory. Wasn't quite good enough at Nürburgring to get the job done. Tamas Vizin took the spoils there. But this time Ben Spallo looks like he will be on the top step of that podium. If you want to win in the Lotus Cup Europe, you've got to bring a Hungarian. 1, 2, 3 as it stands. Marechal there from the Netherlands is P4. Then we've got the Swede in Palmer in P5. The high 6th, Nielsen. And then got Jean-Pierre Genot-Prechet. Bourgens and Lake as your top 10. Down towards Blanchimont then, the final time. Vizin still trying to catch up here, but I don't think it's quite going to be enough. McNulty's the latest car to indeed be lapped. Means they have to do 1 less lap as well, of course. In towards the final chicane we go. A nice wide entrance then from Ben Spallo. You can see McNulty does not want to get involved in a battle for the lead. Ben Spallo is going to take the checker flag. He's going to take yet another victory in this championship. Tamas Vizin will finish in 2nd spot. Congratulations to both of them. And, well, we're about to see Valen in about 20 seconds make it a Hungarian 1, 2, 3. But, yeah, great driving from Ben Spallo and, indeed, Tamas Vizin. Vizin leading the race for the majority of it. But when it came to the crunch, Ben Spallo just had a little bit too much. Across the line then for Valent. And there you go. It is a podium finish then for the 3rd Hungarian. Marechal's about 24 seconds behind. Last time checked, the Dutch driver will finish in P4. Palmer will finish in P5. And then you've got Verheist and Nielsen who are battling. But there you go. Here's your P3. Bence Valent. P2, Tamas Vizin. And your race winner, Bent Ballo.
Allez, on va y aller avec la cérémonie de remise des trophées pour cette Lotus Cup Europe. We can start this prize-giving ceremony. It's quite simple for the flags. It's Hungary, Hungary, Hungary. Congrats, guys. Great show, great race. Third place coming from Hungary, Benz Valint. Third place, Benz Valint. La troisième place pour Benz Valint, qui nous vient donc de Hongrie, tout comme le deuxième. Second place, Tamas Vizin. Congrats to Tamas Vizin. And the trophy is given by our DTM representative. Les trophées remis par nos représentants DTM. Tamas Vizin, le trophée de la deuxième place. And once again, on the circuit of Spa-Francorchamps, victory for Mr. Benz Balok. Benz Balok, winner of this race. Voilà, Benz Balok, il a l'habitude des podiums. Normalement, c'est là tout en haut qu'on fait le podium. Mais au niveau DTM, ce sera à l'entrée de la pit lane. Bravo Benz Balok, on écoute l'hymne national hongrois. That's a 1, 2, 3 for Hungary. First place for Benz Balok, second place for Tamas Vizin, and third place for Benz Valin. Congrats, guys. Great show, great race. Voilà les photos officielles avec les trophées. Puis je pense que ça, ils vont passer. The official pictures of this first podium of the weekend for the Lotus Cup Europe. There will be a second race tomorrow at the end of the day. Alors le petit selfie sur le podium, bah oui, je pense que ces trois-là vont le ramener du côté de la Hongrie, ce selfie. Benz Balok, Tamas Vizin et Benz Valint. Congrats guys. And just after that, champagne. Et le champagne, il le boit en Hongrie. Voilà. Congrats. Voilà, terminé pour cette course de la Lotus Cup Europe, c'était bien sympa, merci pour ce spectacle. Il est quasi 18h, hein. Il est 18h sur le circuit, le pit walk peut commencer maintenant, vous n'hésitez pas à venir nous rejoindre dans la pit lane F1 sur le circuit de Spa-Francorchamps pour admirer les bolides du DTM bien évidemment, et aussi rencontrer ces pilotes de la Lotus Cup Europe qui auront assuré le show. Merci à Michel Chevalier et Eric Counson de Speaker Info Assistance de m'avoir assisté d'ailleurs dans cette journée, pas toujours évidente mais on y est arrivé, on est au bout. Merci également aux équipes techniques du circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. On se retrouve demain pour la journée numéro 3 au niveau du DTM et ce sera le même programme plus ou moins qu'aujourd'hui avec la qualification du DTM à 10h05 et la course numéro 2 à 13h33. Excellent pit walk à tous et toutes bien évidemment. Ça va se prolonger pendant une quarantaine de minutes. Profitez-en. Bonne soirée. À demain.